afternoon, good night, and welcome to Gravity Magazine's first ever podcast episode and a new series we're calling DEFY. Today I'm here with a couple of my friends and we're going to talk about our study abroad experiences.
I'm Toby, and I studied abroad in Barcelona, España.
My name is Shane, and I studied abroad in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
My name is Taina, and I studied abroad in the Galapagos, Ecuador.
My name is Sydney, and I studied abroad in Roma, Italy.
My name is Nia, and I studied abroad in Paris, France. My name is Grace, and I studied abroad in Brighton, England.
Sorry. My name is Jules, and I studied abroad in Prague, Czech Republic. So we're going to start with a speed round to kind of loosen us up. Leave that.
No elaboration allowed?
No,
or?
none at all.
Only yes
This
or no?
is yes or no speed.
Okay.
And what we going to do, because I'm not doing this with y'all. Especially you. Not doing this with y'all. So speed round, we're going to start this way and just go around.
I'm sorry, which way?
That way.
Yeah.
Okay, I
You
got it.
you second.
All right.
Alright, ready? Did you have any second thoughts before you left? Yes or no?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes. Okay. Did you leave America to escape something?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. If you could go back in time, would you do it again?
Yes.
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 Same.
That was kind of cute. UM study abroad, but he eat that.
That's the only
Here
from our students.
Will you travel abroad again in the future?
Yes.
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 Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. Will you go back to the place you studied abroad?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes. Would your life be different had you not studied abroad?
Yes.
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 Yes. Alright. So from here on out, we're just going to do like chronologically curated questions just to jog our memories from when you first arrived to kind of like that ending feeling. So starting off, we kind of talked about this before we got on camera, and I didn't initially have this as a question, but I think this is going to be an interesting discussion. Did your parents want you to go? Was there any pushback there? Does anyone feel compelled to speak first about that? I think my parents did not want them to go.
My parents did not want me to go.
Why?
They were just so scared of me, like, going across the country by myself. Like, they made me download Life 360. So I still have it on my phone. They were just so scared for me, like, just to go somewhere by myself. But then they saw, like, how safe it was. Like, so eventually they were okay with it. But,
Anyone else's parents said no?
My parents are not looking to go. I mean, my father, he's kind of like, let me stop. My father, like, remained very neutral on the topic because he knew, like, I would just choose what was best for me. But I feel like my mother thought that, like, Brazil was completely dangerous, like, because the year before I studied abroad was like, don't go there. So this was like, I feel like this was the first year that they said, like, okay, like, students can start to go there again. And there were only 3 of us that signed up across the whole school, so yeah, they just didn't not feel comfortable, and they also just didn't bring it up a lot either. Like, I feel like they were just really scared.
Did anyone's parents want them to go?
I think my parents were they were okay with, I mean, because I've been to, this wasn't my first time in Europe. I've traveled with my parents through Europe, so I think they were comfortable with me going. I don't know, I feel like my parents, they didn't really know, like, what I was doing out there, so I'm guessing that's why they didn't have any apprehension to me.
My parents also like studied abroad, so they were like, since I was in middle school, they're like, if you gonna get a chance to study abroad for free, why would you not do that?
right.
So they were definitely there supporting me and like encouraging me, helping me back, all that kind of stuff.
And we're going to get into the finances later because that wouldn't have happened without certain things like that. Yeah. So yeah, how'd you feel upon arrival? International flights, kind of just like landing in a new spot. What did you feel? Did you feel nervous? What were those first feelings?
I'll start off. COVID made it awful. Absolutely awful to plan anything. Oh, let me speak louder. Yeah, no, COVID was a really hard challenge because all flights were getting canceled. my flights were leaving out of New York, so we had to like get we had to take COVID tests before we could fly out, and then it was New Year's Eve when I was leaving, so nothing was open, and me and my brother were like circling streets, like just trying to find a COVID test. I'm like, am I gonna make this flight? Am I not gonna make this flight? And then it was a lot, but it was fine. I mean,
So chaotic.
Yeah, it was chaotic, but like it ended up being completely fine. But when I landed, I was like, what am I doing? I was like, I can't read any of these signs.
I forgot about COVID though. Like it was like a time period that I thought was gonna be canceled. Like for like,
Right.
I was really convinced like none of us were gonna go anywhere.
Right.
I forgot about that.
Right.
That was a real question. Like, am
That
I
was like
still
an actual
going?
question.
It was always like, that's why I think it was such a hard adjustment for me at first, because I literally didn't think I was going until I was like in the airport. I was like, oh, they're not stopping this program.
You're not gonna send me
Right.
back.
How many of us had signed up to study abroad the semester prior? But so I know Shane and I both tried to study abroad this spring, our sophomore years, and we both couldn't because of COVID. So like this year, we were just kind of just like, hopefully. And then literally when I got to the airport, I was like, wow, like, oh my God. And then what you said, about like the signs, I think that was kind of the first thing for me that like made my stomach just like drop. And so I think that was very nerve-wracking for me too in that sense. So definitely a chaotic. Did anyone have like an easy kind of arrival?
Yeah.
I had a pretty easy arrival because like my parents came down with me.
Oh,
So like
wow.
yeah, they
anyone else? Did anyone else's parents come with them?
No.
Yeah.
My parents don't have a passport.
Right.
They dropped me
My
off.
family visited for spring break.
Oh wow, you guys.
They were there for like 4 days.
Parents dropped me off at Jacksonville Airport.
Wait, so always for there. Separating from me? I love you. So Sydney, talk about that. Like, talk about your parents. Like, how did that provide just a little bit of?
Oh yeah, it like provided like comfort because like they were with me during the whole process, like when I was moving in and like buying supplies, like going to the grocery store for the first time. Like
How long did they stay? How long did they stay?
They stayed for a week because it was like their anniversary or something like that. So like, it was like a
Oh, so you were like a side.
yeah,
You
it
were
was like I was just an extra.
Right.
Like,
Okay. It worked out well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me,
basically.
it set in that I was in a different place when I went out to dinner that first night. Like I didn't know any of the other students, and we all were in homestays. Luckily, like one of the other girls, like, there was one boy and one girl that came with me from UN. I never saw the boy, but Sydney, she stayed like 15 minutes, like a walk from me, like 20-minute walk from me. But they had picked us up, like the school picked us up from the airport right when we got there. They drove us to our homestay. But then like that night we went out to dinner, and like I couldn't even interact with the waiter like at all because I didn't know any of the language. And I was like, damn, like I can't even order water. Like I know water is agua, but like they have like different options and stuff. I didn't know what to say. Like she had to speak everything for me. And then like we leave the restaurant, like somebody's following us down the street. Like it was just terrible. Like I was so scared. Yes, like right off the bat. Like the first time we went out to dinner, somebody, and that was like really the only time that happened. But it happened like when I was with her. It's like we're going down the street. I'm like, am I gonna have to fight this man? Like against my host mother, like an old lady. Like
It's just you, your host mother.
we're just walking down the street and some guys like following us just a little bit. But then it was fine. Everything was fine. But it was like, damn. And then I was scared to go outside after that.
I would be.
Yeah, I was so scared until like I started going to like
So
programming and stuff at school. Like,
Right.
it was chill.
We will get into that. So, first arrivals, I'm hearing kind of like a range of feelings. Some people had, a couple parents help settle in. Mom and dad, this is you. Yeah. But, chaotic a little bit, COVID. One thing, I didn't write a question about that, but, like, did COVID, like, impact anyone's semester? Yeah.
Hello. So I literally was the first person to get COVID in my program.
What?
I got COVID maybe a week into school starting. I had to be quarantined for a whole week at a hotel by myself. You could sneak a guest or two in.
My experience was affected. I think I had you had to pay for a test in UK when you got there, so it was like over $100 to pay for that COVID test once you arrived. But also I had won a scholarship from America, And because like Omicron was at its peak right then, they literally said they can't give you the
Oh yeah,
scholarship.
because you were in the
Oh.
UK.
Yeah. No, like everywhere. Every location. Kids were studying abroad that whole semester. And
The foundation.
and they said, yeah, because if you're studying in any of the countries that are 3 or 4, you can't. And like every country was at a 3 or 4 because
Yeah.
Omicron was going crazy. And it was literally $5,000. So I'm sitting there like, how am I about to pay for my housing? Like that was about to pay my whole housing. So having to figure that out was definitely something.
I wonder your suite mates got COVID. The first,
Oh
you remember
yeah,
that?
they was getting a lot, and I was like, that's a lot. Like I already like I interacted with them very minimal, but like they just like it was one after the other after the other. I said, and they were still coming into the kitchen. I said, I'm gonna need you to stay in your room.
So you've settled in. What were some of the hardest adjustments, just like within the first weeks? Like, baby, this gotta change. Kind of thing.
I mean, we're in a pretty developing country. No AC. You had to like get water from like a jug. Like I had to pour it every night into my water bottle. Like you can't like I did not use the sink water to brush my teeth. Couldn't flush toilet paper.
When you couldn't flush the toilet paper.
Couldn't flush
That's
toilet
pretty
paper.
common, I think.
And
Yeah.
What would you?
like
You
it
just
don't
put in
take-
the-
For the trash.
it don't take that.
Well,
Yeah.
what if you shit? Or
Even,
sorry,
Yeah.
even in
Easily.
Europe, though,
Yeah,
it's pretty
yeah.
common.
Yeah.
So you don't
Like the
flush
trash
them.
cans away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just take it out
Because
of
the septic
school.
tank like can't do
Like
that.
it
Yeah.
literally can't handle.
It can't
Yeah,
handle the
anything
toilet.
like
You were
paper.
flushing toilet paper all the time?
Oh, I mean, like,
I was.
if
I
I'm
mean,
wiping
probably,
my
yeah,
ass,
probably.
I'm gonna flush
Yeah.
it. That's crazy.
I was.
Yeah.
I was personally flushing my toilet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
I was already kind of accustomed to it, so I just did that like automatic.
That was the first time I had to do that.
Thank goodness I brought every product from the United States.
Wait, we're talking. That's a question. Someone did ask about hair products abroad.
Here, I can expand
Yeah.
for person.
Like
But
even just like other stuff, like
what's you bring?
deodorant. Like thank goodness my deodorant lasted me like up until almost all life because they had like very different like deodorant like types of stuff. Like I couldn't read the labels in the store. I'd be trying to like translate. My Wi-Fi wasn't working. I'm like I just fucking guess.
You had to get the offline.
On that note, English people, like, I've traveled a whole bunch of different places before I went to study abroad, and I have, like, family members who literally traveled the entire world. And, like, my cousin, before I went, told me, like, British people have the worst food. But I was like, that can't be true. Like, that can't be true. I don't know why. That was true. That food was disgusting. Like, when I tell you disgusting, it had no salt, it had no pepper, it had no nothing. On nothing. And I was just so confused. I said, why does this chicken taste like 10% of chicken? I said, the flavor, where is it? I could only eat the food I made. That and KFC. But
KFC was
Why
KFC. I stayed at KFC and they had
I'm
deals.
sorry.
Guys, think
I
about
got Popeyes in Valencia.
Okay, but think about that. Think about the
Yeah.
universality of Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Why?
Why is Kentucky Fried Chicken
Americanization.
ever
Yeah.
that? Wow.
The
It's
Kentucky?
powerful.
Kentucky.
But I've never eat KFC in the U.S.
Never.
No.
What is KFC?
But KFC was one of the best meals I
It
had
was good. And it was
in
cheap.
Brazil.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk.
I used to take the train to KFC.
Let's touch the train.
Guys,
That's it. We're getting to
let's
this.
talk.
Transportation.
Mine was very different. My host family was required to feed us breakfast and dinner every day.
Oh.
So I was always fed, and then we had lunch. Like lunch was like you go to like, we had 5 restaurants to pick from, and like
On the whole island?
it's very different. But yeah, so we were eating the same thing for like the same different places for lunch again.
Wait, so
But I didn't have
restaurants.
to like go grocery shopping. Like I'd get snacks like every now and then. Like, but I didn't. I was pretty full. I was
Hey,
eating.
Okay.
Your host family could cook.
Yeah, they could. It was really good. But I was eating just like a meat and like rice or meat and lentils every night. But it was good. Like, it was always good. But yeah, I didn't have to tap into cooking at all.
So you weren't spending your money on food.
No.
My host family could not cook.
Oh my
Contrast.
gosh. The first day.
And she knows. Teresa Babes.
Called out.
I miss Marie.
I miss her too.
Yeah, what was she supposed to say?
Y'all, the first day I got there, she was like, my host mom, was like, I'm gonna cook for you guys, but like, I need you guys to know that this isn't every day. This is a one-time thing. This is the only time I'm gonna cook. And I was like, okay. And
The only time?
yes, I sat down and she was like, here. and it was like this white casserole with like broccoli and cauliflower and like creamy something. I tasted it. It was the blandest thing I've ever had. Like, which I don't know. I'm so excited for French food, and because I really like food, I really like to cook, and it's just they want the flavors to speak for themselves. You gotta. They want the ingredients.
You want the ingredient to ingredient more than the ingredient
It's
to ingredient.
okay. Like,
And it's
really
like,
good.
it's
We
not
can
gonna
use
work.
It. Like,
You need seasoning. Like,
Right.
you need it.
Shay just said they want the ingredient to ingredient more than the ingredient can ingredient. And I think that makes so much sense. Like, that has so much historical relevance.
I'm just
Like, why is it just the meat?
Right.
Nothing else. Nothing else. Meat and olive oil.
I'm confused. Aren't the host parents paid to cook for you breakfast and
You can pay an extra fee. For
okay.
us, it was an extra fee to get
Yeah.
meals. I paid that. I told them I will pay the extra fee for the meals. I get there, my host mother's like, I don't cook. She's like, I don't know how to do that. So we just gonna pay the cheaper option. So I did.
Well, I guess for us, like not everyone's parents, like my family cooked for me most nights. I never got taken out to eat, but some people got taken out to eat every other day, like because they really didn't cook. So I guess I got lucky for that.
Because there's only 5. Like, I mean, like, but the 5 place is good, though. Like,
There was more than 5, maybe like 10.
oh.
But we only had for lunch. We could only go to like 5. Like,
Is it paid for?
Yeah, like, it's
Oh.
it's like I mean that's part of it.
Oh, that's
Girl,
oh,
so
you
wasn't really
won.
spending
You
money.
won. You
Yeah.
won.
I'm starved.
We were all
Wait,
said, oh, yeah,
yeah.
you won.
Taina, you said that you only brought $2,000.
I only spent like less than like $2,100.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And then all they take is cash on the island that I was on. All they
You
do is-
mentioned that. That's something to note. That y'all were in like most of y'all were in U programs. So that's like
Yes.
programs a part of the University of Miami who like took you there and helped you. I was on an individual program. They dropped me there and that was it. It was me fending for myself.
Was there anyone
Everybody,
else?
there was no paying for meals.
You didn't exchange.
There was I did exchange. So it was
Me
just dropped off there. No like trips were a part of it or anything like that.
Okay,
Like,
no field trips.
we didn't get no field trips. The field trips I went on, I paid for myself, my own dime.
Wait, who did you live with? Like, did you
I lived in a dorm.
I think we should all talk about our living.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Where'd you live?
So I lived in the Gothic quarter of Barcelona. I lived in an apartment, so it was doubles, but it was 3 bedrooms, so it was supposed to be like 6 girls in the apartment. 3 of them ended up leaving. Don't know who chased them out.
Whoa.
So it ended up being just 3 of us.
Ma'am.
It ended up just being 3 of us in the apartment. We all got along really well. Thankfully, the evil took itself out. We did end up getting a roommate like 2 weeks with 2 weeks left in the program, but we loved her.
Wow.
I lived in a homestay for the first 2 months, and then I moved into an apartment literally 1 block away from my homestay, and I moved in with this French boy and this British girl, and we lived there for 2 months, and then I went home. But I was in like a beach town, like on the beach. It was really nice, like it was like the city technically, because the city's so big, but it was a section of the city that felt suburban in a way, but it was very much like urban. It was very urban.
Okay, yeah. I lived in with the host family. I had a mom and a dad, and they took care of one of their grandkids. His name was Yael. Love him. My little brother, he was 8. But yeah, everyone stayed in with the host families. My next door neighbor, like our houses were connected. It was her sister, my mom's sister, so it was my aunt. And she had another student from the program, so we were cousins. And we did like
This family.
and like there was at least like 10 other grandkids, like, and they were always in the house. Like she was a grandma at headquarters, like she was headquarters, and the kids are always meeting there. So I was always with a bunch of little kids. Like and there was she had a son my age, but he was always working. Like he wasn't around. But I was just hanging out with a bunch of like younger than 10 year olds all the time. And then my cousin, James, shout out James. My cousin, so we do a lot of things together.
You look up.
Still here,
So I was in an apartment with 6 other girls. So 2 girls were from UMD, and then 2 girls were from a random school in Pennsylvania. And then Michaela was my roommate. She was here, yeah. Michaela.
We love Michaela. We love Michaela.
Michaela.
It's a little hot in this room.
I didn't have any roommate issues. Like, the only issue we had was, like, so the girls from this one girl from UMD, I swear she was, like, stealing our food. Like, she took my eggs. Like, I swear.
Not the eggs. Okay.
She took, like, Michaela's juice. Like, it was just a lot. But
Just like drinking, like would it be
just
empty?
eating. Yeah, she was like, oh, and then she was like, oh, I don't know what happened. Like, maybe the because we had someone to come and clean our.
We did have a cleaner.
Yeah, we had a cleaner.
And she was blaming all the cleaners?
Yeah, she said, oh, maybe she threw it away.
I get you.
Hold on.
Yeah, she was.
Y'all notice how we just nodded at each other, but we didn't even speak, right? We just nodded.
Yeah.
Right. We still recording? Everything good? Okay. Go ahead.
If you couldn't see that on the podcast, they did point at their parts.
Grace is so funny. We asked
That's how podcasts be like.
Like,
For our Spotify listeners, I can't see us right now.
Yeah. For the listeners who can't see, her roommate was in fact Caucasian.
Not roommate, sweet mate.
Sorry.
Don't be Michaela.
Right.
Right. Not Michaela.
Sweet mate. We love Michaela. Sweet. Go ahead.
Let's see. I had a homestay, and I'm not gonna lie, the apartment was very beautiful. It was in the 13th arrondissement in Chinatown. We stayed in the top level, the 25th floor, and they had that apartment for like 30 years. Yeah. I didn't have any roommates. It was a mom and a dad, but they're older. They're in their 60s, I think. So they were just chilling. He worked from home. She didn't do anything but like kind of cook and play with the grandkids.
Kind of the White Castle.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure it has a name, and it's a very it's a delicacy
Right.
in the French cuisine. So for me, I didn't personally enjoy it. But I had a my room was nice. It was small. Little twin-size bed. I miss my big bed, but my bathroom was really nice.
I want you to know, and just in case I ever get to say this later, you gave me the courage to not second guess myself because you went so early and you were already there for so long before I left that your TikTok, like, keeping up. Grace, I remember Grace sent me I want to think you sent me this, you're like, stay connected with Nia. I was like, just struggling. I was just like, I don't know, Grace, if I can do this. Like, I was just like, we'll talk about it, but Prague was very much like a trip I wanted to take in high school, and I've changed so much since high school. It's just like, I need to be in Morocco. Like, I need to be in Africa. Like, I don't know if I need to be in Prague right now. And I was just like, I kept second guessing. And seeing you just like exist in those spaces, and you came back from your first French class, I remember.
Oh, yeah.
And like, you were speaking, like, I remember all these things. And I remember
all the devil.
No, but listen, you trying and like you speaking a new
you did
language
try.
and just like being there, that instilled so much like motivation in me. Like I always wanted to tell you that.
Well, thanks. I didn't really think anyone was watching them.
I love it.
Maybe.
You were watching.
What? You have
I
to
was watching.
go on the TikTok.
Yeah. She had a nice view from the apartment and everything.
Yeah.
It was
I
amazing.
can see the Eiffel Tower. It was
Yeah.
Yes,
nice.
it was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
It was really cool.
Okay,
I got to feel that way.
Fangirl moment. We love you. Go ahead.
I mean, so I did mention it before, but I kind of studied abroad like twice. I was
After hours.
Stop.
Sorry.
Our Spotify listeners.
Our Spotify listeners. Sorry, guys.
There's
Take it
no
off for
AC in here.
sweatshirt.
Hi, I was wearing a hoodie.
Anyway,
It's my work fit.
We're going out after this, yeah, or before.
No.
Since we went out before, we're
No.
tired. We
tired.
going to sleep after.
Yes.
Okay, great.
No, but yeah. I studied abroad basically twice, and so I was in Brighton, and I was also in Paris, and then so in Brighton I stayed in a dorm. It was an ensuite, so the bathroom was like in my room, but I shared the living room space and the kitchen space with 5 other people, and like they had like rules that like if you didn't clean it up you get charged, and thankfully they didn't like charge us, and like ours wasn't too bad. Like they only left a couple of dishes and stuff. My friend, the other person who came from UM, they literally had mold in their place. Dishes sitting, stank, rank, up in there. And like it was just like she was in there with like she was in there with 5 boys, and so they just weren't cleaning nothing like that. It was a girl, and then but because they don't do it like how we do it. And so my roommates were 4 girls and 1 boy, and the 1 boy, he was a clean freak, so he was trying to always make sure that stuff was clean, take out the trash, all that kind of stuff. And then when I stayed in Paris, they had us outside of Paris, not like Paris got a couple arrondissements. That's a real Paris. They had us in the boroughs, so we had us on the outside. That's a great question.
Because you were there this summer.
I was there this summer. Yeah, so I stayed there for a month, and what's it called? It's on the 14th line of the metro, so it's all the way at the end.
Oh, I was like over there.
Really?
Yeah, I was on like the bottom right, like the south.
Yeah.
So like that was kind of the end of the metro line.
Yeah, and I was right over there. Montrouge.
Oh, on the other side?
Her facial expression.
On the other side.
Yeah, on the other side.
I was on the other side.
But in Paris, they had us in a hotel, and so everybody for a month.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And everybody else had roommates, but thank the Lord, I was in there by myself because there was I was the only black girl in that program, and there was only 1 black boy, and so they had us paired. And I'm telling you, it was giving. The room was made for 1 person. So when they told me there were roommates, I said, "What's going on? People laying hip to hip on the bed." I said, "Whoa,
They shared the same bed?
It was 2 like twin beds that were pushed together.
Oh.
Yeah. For a month. I was like, that's crazy.
I would never do that.
I can't.
Guys, for
rather
people
not.
who can't see this right now, Julian's
I'm really
crying.
crying. Sorry, I'm really crying. That was so bad. Chris Grace gonna make sure you get what she needs. She said hip to.
Because those people were, I was so thankful. I was like one of 2 people who had a solo room. And I said, that was meant to be, because no way. No way I could have done that.
I was living in a dorm. So I was living in Kolekomitskeko.
Oh, I was like, it's me.
Whoa.
He wasn't.
He was. Keep going.
That was
Sorry.
cheap. Anyway, so I was living with a bunch of like college students from like UM and then like from all different schools. Like I had a couple friends from like GW, University of Vermont, UConn. So just like a bunch of college kids, like be in residential college basically. I had my own room, and then I'd have a suite mate and we would share a bathroom. There was like a communal kitchen at the end of the hall kind of thing. I'm trying to work this in nicely. Because I loved y'all. Y'all know ECES. Shout out my little community back there. Y'all know I love y'all. Y'all were dirty. Dirty. Like, that kitchen was filthy. And I would call my mom, like, Mom, you have to send me extra money this week unless you want me to die. Like, cooking in this kitchen, like, diseases, like, no, like, the mold, like, very real. Like, just leaving your food out. And I'm going to be very candid. I have never lived with white people before. It's just like not like very expecting other people to clean up after their messes, and they can clean ladies go and do so much. So, moving on.
Wait! I forgot to say.
Yeah.
After I lived in the homestay, I stayed for a month, and like the way they do their dorms and stuff, I call them like super dorms. So they're each individual rooms and bathrooms and like little kitchenettes, and I lived there. It was cool, just for people who like want to know like what it might be like.
Right. Very cool. Cool. I want to talk about transportation really quickly. Let's make this brief, just so you know, stay a little bit. Your primary mode of transportation?
I walked a lot, and if I didn't walk, I was obsessed with the bus, even though I never got on the right bus. And I also took the metro. I love the bus. I'm sorry. I love public buses. I love public buses.
I love public transportation.
I'm passionate about public buses.
Me too.
I was scared of the bus at first, so I took the metro a lot, and then I started incorporating the bus. Like 2 months in, once I did
We had to walk everywhere. We would go to the mountains and take a taxi because not everyone has a car unless you work up there. And then a little boat to boat, island to island transportation was my fave. Taking their little nap.
I took a motor taxi.
They were nice.
On a motorcycle.
Oh yeah.
Like on the what?
like
I
hop on the back of
was on the
and like ride up the.
I was on the
ride up
moto. This
mountain.
was my suitcase. Me and my suitcase and the moto and the driver. No, let's hold it.
For our Spotify listeners,
Yeah.
can you demonstrate what you're doing?
So it'd be the driver of the motorcycle because it's just a motorcycle, and then in between, like on his back with my suitcase, and then me hanging onto the edge, honestly, for my life. But that's how you had it. Like I couldn't walk with my suitcase. Like that was not happening. So.
So mine was walking or the bus everywhere. Fun fact is that if you just buy a single bus ticket, it's $150. And they want you to buy the bus monthly pass, but you don't do that. You just go into the single ticket. And if you see the police come, then you just go the other way.
Whoa!
I mean,
and then you never pay for the monthly ticket.
Yeah.
And then you just have the $150 bus ticket.
$1.50?
Yeah, $150.
I had it. So, because one sounds like a steal, the other sounds like you got.
You're not really
eating like you
yeah.
think you.
The monthly pass was like €40. And I was like, why did I do that?
If you're under a certain age, I think under 25, you get a 3-month pass for like €80. So that's what I had. Because I'm on the metro and the bus, so I just paid €80 for the whole time.
Paris did not have that. We were consistently paying €80 a month to take all of public transportation. Consistently, all of us, most of us.
But I had a little pass.
We did. We had the like you had to.
Oh yeah, that
pay
would go
every
cost
month.
money. It was big.
expensive.
Yeah.
Cause it's for all of the transportation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, in Paris, it was the Navigo Pass. You get that paid every week to go on all transportation. In Brighton, there is literally, to get into the city, like, because we were in the outskirts. When I tell you the outskirts, my dorm was next to some cows. Like, they was mooing, and that was time to wake up.
That was how I wake up.
But, like, the only way to get from campus into the city was the Brighton and Hove bus feature. And then they had like a student discount you could get, but you could also have the train. But I felt more comfortable on the bus. It was good sightseeing and getting to know other places and stuff like that. But it was 45 minutes to get anywhere.
Wow. Oh, well, here's my ISIC card.
You should have brought props. Okay.
Brought a little prop show and tell. So we got these at the beginning of the year. I don't believe we had to purr. I don't believe we had to pay for ours at all. So I got my first 3 months of transportation completely free. And Prague is probably the best transportation, I'd say, in like a lot of European countries. Like Prague is known for their public transportation. Just like some deeper questions, just to get really into the nitty gritty. We've kind of given you guys the basics. I feel like of that. How's your perception of reception? I like this.
I think. Oh, sorry. Okay. I think with that, like, I think you don't realize how insane it is to go to a whole different continent and a whole different country and just like go on about your day, like day to day, like go to class, go to do this, do that, do all these activities, like you're living in your regular like town. So I think it like made me realize how much like how adaptable I can be and just like how strong I can be and like resilient and just like how independent I truly am. Like that really like I already knew I was independent. I've always been pretty independent, but like that was kind of like a true test of my independence. And I think.
That's what I was gonna say. I was so proud of myself at the end of it. Like I made it, I did it. I was like thriving. Like in the beginning, I was just like kind of scared that like maybe this could not be for me, but I did it. I'm happy with the results.
Same.
Yeah, mine was the independent because I didn't think that I could like do any of that, like traveling all the time, like planning trips, like going to like all these places.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know how to do that. Like I didn't know I had that in myself, and seeing that I could do it was like.
I feel like I gained a lot of confidence in myself. Like, I feel like my self-esteem was very low before I went abroad. And, like, it got better there. Just like my interactions with people, it was just like experiences that I wish I could have at home. Like the bare minimum, I feel like, was found elsewhere, if that makes sense. Like romantically, with friendships, like. People would just be open to being your friend. Like I feel like it's kind of hard to make friends in the U.S. Like people are very closed off, like very segregated, very within their group. So it was just nice to like interact with different people and just know that is out there for you. Just knowing that it can be easy to like have fun going out. I thought I was just a person that didn't like going out. Like no, it was just the context of like where I was and like. I didn't have the opportunity to fully express myself like within like my personality, within my sexuality. Like I feel like I found that elsewhere. So that was a big change, and I feel like I will be able to return to that or find it in a way.
I know Parisians get a bad rap, Parisians, but honestly, the people around my age, those are some of the nicest people I've ever met. Like, so welcoming, so, like, not trying to exclude you, like, even making it a point to, like, speak English, and, like, they know that, like, French isn't, I'm not that strong in it, so, like, how can I still, like, communicate with this other person and, like, have this shared experience? And I thought that was really nice. Across the board, I found people were, like, very welcoming.
I'd say the same way. It's like having confidence in myself and in my independence and in God, and just being like, there were times I was struggling down bad alone. It was just me and him, and it was just having to trust on that, but also being like, I was walking in Prague at like 1 a.m. in the morning. That's something I could not feel comfortable doing in Miami when guns are around. Please.
Let's talk about it. So Grace did come to visit me.
Yeah.
Yes, that was cool. Yeah, I think confidence is something that I also latch onto as like something that just completely changed before and after. Like there was something about just walking on the streets.
Yeah.
And like, sure, I was the only black person in that country, so everyone's gonna stare regardless. But no one could have been there, and I would have still felt confident. It's just, it wasn't about necessarily the people as it was just like feeling like I could literally just do whatever I wanted in this place. It just felt like I needed to start fresh because I had found so much about myself just by leaving my environment. Like I really came out of myself, and and it was really liberating. It was just really freeing to see like stuff that you don't even think about, that you're like, wow, I really just behave differently. Just like the way you react to things. Like I was not really like if I had like the same issues I had abroad here, I would malfunction. My money was tight, very tight abroad. Sorry, mom and dad thought that $100 a week was gonna pay me. Come on. Let's be real.
It took 4 days to transfer the money so I can actually use it. Rent due tomorrow.
So yeah, we'll get into it, but like I think that was good. Just confidence and just overall like independence. Like those are really good answers. Post travel, like post grad plans. How did this affect like your vision for the future? If it did,
Yeah. So this past summer, I interned in San Francisco, so that was like kind of me also going somewhere new and like whatever. And with me and the way I view work and like just like jobs, whatever, I can see myself working like in an office, but I can't see myself having this 30-year career in an office. I just like that's just not who I am. So I think with that, when I started doing I've already done most of my interviews for like my post-grad job. I already have a job, thank God. But something that I think changed when I went abroad was that when I started to look for a job, I wanted a job that had global offices to where if I did climb up the corporate ladder just to do that, I could be transferred to a different global office, and then they would sponsor like all that immigration stuff, visa, stuff like that. So I think that is something that like kind of changed.
That's good.
Like post-grad stuff.
That's good. Yeah, like the same, like looking for opportunities just to go back out. Like, I told my parents like, we're gonna have to figure it out. They were like, you're independent. I was like, I'm gonna have to figure it out, and I will. But like, I'm definitely going abroad after college. If something works, if I want Abbott Elementary, I want Abbott Elementary. But for now, going back abroad, and having those experiences, like I'm still thirsty for more. Like I'm not. I wasn't done yet, and that was one of the things about we can talk about. I guess, how'd you feel coming back to America?
I did not want to come back.
Yeah.
I came back on the 4th of July. Like the symbolism in like coming back on the 4th of July. I was pissed, and also I came back before the semester ended because I had to rush back to get my work laptop for my internship. It was just like so symbolic. I was like, I don't even want to work. Like the fact that work like stands in the way of you getting these almost mandatory life experiences for real. Like I feel like study abroad should be mandatory.
It should be. At some colleges it is.
I feel like I want to say yes, but I also can see I don't. Some kids would not.
Try.
They struggling out here.
They're struggling.
So-
Some kids would not. Like, if that was
It's not for
mandatory,
the weak.
it is
Yeah.
not for the weak. Like that. It really.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I'm proud of y'all. Of it. That is not for the weak. But Sydney, you said you did not want to come back home.
Oh,
Why?
yeah.
I didn't know.
Like,
Well, I was going back to your last question. Like, I'm pre-med, so I like it's like always work. Like, yeah, like no breaks. Like just all I did was study. And so when I was in Rome, like I didn't study. Like I just didn't study. Like I ate, I like vibed, and I was like, why can't I do this every day? Like,
how many of our GPAs went down with study abroad? Let's be real.
I took 3 classes.
My grades, those were the worst grades I think I've had.
Those are the
Those are the worst grades I've ever had in my entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Those were-
it wasn't about
Be serious.
school.
I did.
My grades were terrible.
Our orientation,
But my
they were like,
classes
please
weren't
drink as much
business
as you can until you black out. They knew.
Wow.
They
They
knew.
do.
They knew. Did your schools like understand like that you were there to study abroad? Like,
Yeah, I think
because they
so.
emphasize the point of like, we know that this is not your priority right now. Please go have fun.
We had a whole like intro on like where to go to have fun and like how to navigate the city.
Yeah, they give us like bar recommendations.
Bar
Because that is
And we
more
all had Friday
educational.
off, right?
yeah.
Right.
I
let's talk
had
about
class
that.
1 day a week.
You had class one day a
She
week.
did, and I was
Yeah.
jealous.
I only went to school one day a week too.
Wednesday.
I had Friday off.
Wednesday. Sorry, it's like
I
yeah.
had
Wait,
online
I
class,
do-
but it was like,
I do want to talk about how it kind of like changed my relationship to my post grad
Yeah.
because I didn't. Me graduating early is completely on accident because I messed up my credit studying abroad, and I had to like fix it or else I was gonna have to pay more money to stay longer and finish everything.
Wait, are you graduating this semester?
Yeah.
What?
You're
I didn't even know that. I'm like, okay, random.
Neil,